video. Today we are going to be talking about reversal chart patterns, right? So we've gone through a few of these chart patterns. Let me make them big here on my screen and you can see them. So these are the patterns that I prefer to play. I prefer to play reversals. So a lot of times you're looking for trend breaks. You can see here trend break, which I will have a video hopefully out by now about. So here are some of the patterns. And these are kind of this is just market structure. This is how price, it forms all these different types of patterns just because it's human nature. These patterns really, in the broader scheme of things, are human nature and algo nature, or the robots, but the robots are trying to mimic humans, right? So this is what you'll usually find when a market is about to reverse or wants to reverse. This is usually what it does to kickstart it. So we have, these are the bottom pickers, and this is how you pick a top usually. So all these charts, you don't play unless you really know and you see it in advance. Sometimes I'll play a right shoulder on these, but you really want to play the neckline break or the trend break. Like for example, on a bearish rising wedge, depending on your time frame, whatever time frame you see the wedge on, once you see a break below the resistance, or was support, now resistance level, I usually like to play the break below that candle. Once that candle low breaks, that's usually when I like to get in, and that usually kickstarts the trend because it should be breaking a pivot or two by then. So excuse me. And we have down here some things that we've gone through. Here is a bullish falling wedge. Those are really fun to trade. Easy to just risk off the bottom of those. Double bottoms, and then just some consolidation patterns, and then which in this case would be distribution. In this case it would be accumulation. But that's another topic for another day. So let's look at some charts here and see if we can point out some of the patterns. So first off, here's one right here. And let me get these. This is a head and shoulders, right? So we saw that one. This is what a head and shoulders looks like, right? So the neckline is right there. I would consider it right there. You could also say straight across, but a lot of times the necklines are not straight across. A lot of times they're diagonal. So here is another one right here, right? So this was that falling wedge, kind of that broadening type of wedge, something like that. You could, and then you had the nice push. And here was some, so this was a bottom, right? This was a top. Here was another, this technically, you could call it a couple different things depending on what you like to do. You could call it a head and shoulders, right? With this, that being the left shoulder, this one being the head, right? And this one being the right shoulder. You could call it, so that's how you pick a short-term top. There's one. You could also call it a double top right here. Even though it's not to the exact penny, it's close enough where I would call that a double top. Same with this, I would call this a double bottom, and it's even generally more bullish in a case like this, right, where it makes a higher low. So it gets close to it, but it bounces right away, and you see a massive volume there. So when you have massive volume like that, usually you are going to get some sort of bounce. Or if it's up top, then maybe it's a sell. And we'll look at another chart here. And Tesla doesn't really follow logic too often. And here's one, head and shoulders. This could also be a rising, kind of a rising wedge broadening formation type thing. That's usually bearish as well. We have, this would be, I would call this a double top right there. And then you had to move down. So this is how we're picking these micro reversals, right? This is a big head and shoulders here's the shoulder, left shoulder, the head, the right shoulder, and then a boom, big move down. Or you could go down here and you get, look at that, it's a wedge, nice break, something like that. Generally speaking, inverse head and shoulder down here. Here is the left shoulder, here's the head, and here's the right shoulder. And so I can spot this stuff just because I've looked at so many charts now. So if you're not seeing this and you're a beginner, it's okay. It's how I was. That's how it is for everyone in the beginning. You really just got to spend time looking at different charts, different sectors, different companies in each of those sectors and how they move, because they'll have their own personality, right? So don't be alarmed if you can't pick these out. Like there's a wedge right here. It just takes time looking at charts and understanding kind of how they move. So thanks again for watching. Make sure you guys like this video, subscribe, and put any comment or video requests down in the comments. And I look forward to making more videos. Peace.